Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Elena Dumitrescu. I am here with Arj, our Director of Sales at Credivera. Welcome, Arj.
Thanks, Elena. Pleasure to be with you today.
Arj, why don't we kick off this interview with your thoughts on the value associations and certifying bodies bring to professional development?
Yeah, sure. Aside from the many experiences we all have belonging or working with associations, it's probably important just to understand the need for them. And simply, there's a need to protect the public, regardless of industries, whether it's medical, financial, safety, whatever it is. There's a common need for safety and ensuring just the quality of products, the services, and the programs that we all take for granted. Government agencies, regulatory bodies, employers, associations, they all have to turn to the world of credentialing for this reason.
Well, Arj, I know you've spent your career in this industry. I know I'm going to learn some wonderful things from you here today. Tell me, is there a difference between associations and certifying bodies?
Yeah, there actually is. And you often find people confuse them and kind of use them as that they are very similar. There are some similarities between the two and how they function and how they serve constituents, but they are very different for the most part. Associations are typically considered membership-based organizations. These would be your trade associations, professional societies, sometimes hybrids of the two. But associations provide services to their members, like advocating for their industries or their professions. Networking opportunities, you and I go to conferences all the time, but these opportunities for like-minded and professional people to get together. Professional development, which is a lot of what we do, education, programs and things that they offer. They publish journals. They also, provide special benefits. A lot of them do, like insurance, legal representation or assistance, discounts on products and services to their members.
And so, Arj, of course, we both represent Credivera. We specialize in digital credentials. Tell our audience a little bit about what have been some of the trends that you've observed over the years and how you're starting to see Credivera make sense for associations and certifying bodies.
I should probably also mention just really quick that credentialing bodies, they do differ from associations in that they don't have members. They could be certifying bodies or boards. They have significant certification or accreditation programs, and many of these programs are accredited by organizations like the NCCA, the National Commission of Certifying Agencies. And these organizations are really being driven by a lot of these trends that you just asked about. There's quite a number of things that have impacted these organizations that I've seen. I've probably been closer to the technology side of things and how they impact membership and credentialing. But looking back to the 90s into the early 2000s, the first generation of the web was starting to find its way into the business world, and associations were starting to build their read-only websites, right? Not really much, kind of like a brochure online, and you could see through your web browser. But as we made our way into the 2000s and web standards were finally being adopted and things became more interactive, a lot of people were referring to the period as Web 2.0, where constituents began interacting over the web. Associations and credentialing organizations, they started offering self-service functionality to take place of paper-based methods. AMS, CRM vendors, where I came from that world, were starting to port all their products over to web-based platforms. And at that point, we started to also see associations needing to be more competitive with their programs. So they started exploring new technologies that were emerging, such as e-learning products, LMSs, online communities, job boards, online journals, marketing automation, e-commerce sites. Well, these things were starting to make things a lot more convenient. It also started to get a little scary out there, as we as consumers, all of us, had to start sharing our personal information online.
Right.
There was, more unwanted solicitations, unauthorized use of credentials and credit cards, security breaches into big databases, identity theft, all these things. So these concerns, Elena, brought about a lot of new laws and mandates. I remember how associations and credentialing organizations and nonprofits, they were not prepared for like PCI compliance. Organizations and tech vendors, we were all scrambling around to catch up and go through our audits.
And so Arj,
Yeah.
are you now seeing a similar trend with, digital learning and digital credentials? Are you sort of seeing the writing on the horizon of, new things that will emerge that will need to push all those industries in a specific direction?
Yeah, for sure. That's what drove me to actually join Credivera. But today, in the world of Web3, as I think we're all calling it, we're seeing the pendulum swinging back further to the rights of the consumers, the individuals, whether they're your members, non-members, anybody who's interacting with an organization, to have the right to the privacy and the information that they share with others. And there's some serious implications for associations and credentialing organizations. Like you said, these organizations are not always prepared for some of these standards or these laws, like what is being now available from the W3C with verifiable credentials, or the standards that are being driven by larger companies that are trying to really keep the pace, like Microsoft with verifiable credentials. So a lot has changed. Associations have to be prepared for it.
Well, I know you and I understand the space of digital credentials quite well. We're both part of the Credivera team. Let's unpack that a little bit for those who come from the association world or the credentialing bodies world. What do digital credentials bring to them as a benefit?
Well, there's a number of things. Where the web has brought us convenience, verifiable credentials absolutely do that. For issuing bodies like associations and credentialing organizations, first of all, it helps to onboard constituents faster, whether they're members or applicants or candidates or diplomates, or those who are participating as professionals in a credentialing program. It allows them to be onboarded faster, but it also allows them to recognize the value of their credential faster through the organizations by being able to share this information. Well, first of all, get the credentials faster, have it available to them, and to be able to share it with whomever they feel like they want to share the information with. So whether it's an employer, a recruiter, any type of their personal network, maybe they're on LinkedIn and they want to share with social channels, so they can automatically take this credential, post it right away to their LinkedIn profile as a credential that's under their profile there.
I'm a professional. I finished my school. I start my career. I join an association and I go through this continuous learning that now gives me these digital credentials that I can share, like you said, on LinkedIn or with an employer. Those are valuable to me as a professional, of course, and they're valuable to my association because
right. And it's not like it's a one-time thing for these individuals. There's a whole credentialing journey that just got started when you applied and you took that exam and you passed, or there's that professional development aspect of it, where most individuals who have some sort of certification, they have to maintain that professional development. So over the course of their career, just to maintain that certification, whether they have to take an exam or not, or possibly, they're not trying to keep a certification, they just want to learn more and take advantage of today's micro credentials and stackable credentials capabilities. They're able to get this information and have it available and again, share it with those who they want to share it with.
So I'm hearing you talk about security, the integrity of the programs and the certifications that it can be offered, the integrity of a membership, my benefits as a professional for being able to have this information at my fingertips and giving it out to gain employment, and knowing that whoever's looking at this can trust what they're looking at because there's technology behind that that ensures it's 100% tamper-proof and verified.
Right. The brand, just like any for-profit company, the brand is so important to these organizations. And you mentioned it. but just protecting the integrity of their certification programs and all the different certifications that they have is so critical, so important. And I don't know exact statistics, but it's for sure there are people who are either embellishing their qualifications or potentially misrepresenting their certifications that they may have received or may not have received, or just have become lapsed or just not in good standing. But one thing's for sure, what's great about the verifiable credentials is that the organization has the ability to revoke those credentials at any time. So it puts the issuer, the certifying body, the association, it puts them in control of the credentialing and who has it and who has earned it.
Well, I know how excited you were when you joined us. And again, we're excited that you're here and part of this journey, because you bring such incredible knowledge about this industry to Credivera. And now, of course, you can bring the benefits of Credivera to that industry. So it's been, I've had a lot of fun chatting with you here today, and I've had a lot of fun getting to know you, Arj, and creating these value propositions for the industry that you specialize in. Now, we've talked about the association, we've talked about the credentialing body, we talked about the individual. Let's talk a little about the employer. Why should an employer look for this data in this format?
Associations, we have to really think a little bit broader, because it's really the digital ecosystem. It could be that issuer, right? The association credentialing body. It'll be certainly that member or that certificant, but there's also the employer, and then there's all the different partners that might be involved with that employer or those issuing bodies. So it really is an ecosystem. But from the employer standpoint, what it allows them to do, as I see it, is it helps them to mitigate the risk. They are responsible for providing a service or product or program, and they're bringing in qualified people to do this, and they are checking their credentials. What verifiable credentials allows them to do, and Credivera's platform allows them to do, is be able to look in real time at an individual's credentials, to be able to see if they're in good standing, to see if there are any ethical violations, to understand, are they really certified in this, or are they certified in that? So it's an advantage to a recruiter or an HR department, or of course to any employer who's just trying to monitor the quality of their workforce.
That makes a lot of sense. And nothing's more important than safe working operations to us at Credivera and to the world. Yeah. As you said at the beginning, we're all doing this because we want to ensure there's public safety and adherence to those standards across North America.
Credivera's network really allows, again, to bring together all those different parties that help to verify the information of an individual professional. And for all the reasons that you mentioned, I'm really looking forward to speaking with a lot more associations and credentialing organizations about our technology, and also educating them on what's coming, especially with a lot of these privacy laws. So thank you, Elena.
Absolutely. Thank you. I've enjoyed chatting with you this afternoon. We're going to continue these interview series with other subject matter experts from our organization and our partner networks. So stay tuned for additional interviews. I want to thank you, Arj, for being here, for being part of the journey, and for sharing with us today your knowledge and your vision for digital credentials in the associations and credentialing body industries.
My pleasure. Thank you, Anna.